that on there. What's up, Jeremy? Good. Post it real quick. Thumbnail. Plans to build, man, as always. Nothing too crazy. Building away, that's all. Nothing too crazy tonight. See where the wind takes us, you know? Up velocity. Now we're golden. Let's see, what have I done? I cleaned up a little bit of stuff. I want to get some of this stuff moved in and start making this base actually like work. So I was doing some measuring and stuff, figuring out like where chests need to be, just to get a better idea of kind of like what I'm doing in here, how I'm gonna lay things out to make this actually work. I got the pallet and grass areas good to go. Made the jerky stuff last stream. I should finish building these. And then got the secret tunnels. Connected this up earlier. Out of boredom while I was messing around with stuff, cleaning. We can go everywhere now. Black Ops 6. That's fun. I haven't played COD in so long. Wait, I ain't out. No. He's right there. We're good. Got the badge. What is it? Switch to see what it does. Founder mod, everything. Oh, you sub? It didn't say anything, did you? Oh yeah. Didn't say anything weird. Huh. There we go. I can see. Let's see. We got Velocity with the tier 1 sub. Let's appreciate it, man. Hey, what's up, Jay? You're having a good night. Doing well. Thank you for the 4 years. Congratulations. Freaking crazy. Fastest 4 years ever. Blowing me away. I don't know why it didn't say that you subbed. That's the weird thing. There's no notification. Very weird. I don't get it. Can't say. I got nothing. You need a lot of ash cement. You need to do better at collecting that. Yeah, if you got them Prime subs, you know, drop those. Now you get different badges and stuff too. And there's emotes on Twitch that you can use. I don't have any threshold for those at the moment, so they are free to anyone on Twitch. Gotta entice some people over there. Woo. Yeah, I don't know what the I only have the 4 for myself. I don't know what the weird little yellow one is. That's just the free one that you get. Get some more, apparently. Full speed. I have no clue what 7 TV is. Basically add me emotes gifts from like everything. No. I mean, I like the like more personalized ones. Those are more fun. I don't really care about other people's stuff. Wanted to test this out. See. More ash cement as always. Mo ash cement, mo better. Global emotes. I don't know if I like it more. Kind of like just the front, honestly. Dang. Should have just built one. Hello? Makes the chat more fun. I'll have to even see what it is because I don't know if it's just something you add or if it's like a there's a whole like extensions things that I haven't messed with at all. Well, I can't tell what it is because I don't have Twitch open. I'm using Restream. It just says KEK W. It doesn't actually do anything. Those staircases have turned out really well. Playing into the diagonal angles like that, it's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really happy with how they've come together. They're fun. At first, I was like, "There's no way I make this look good," because I don't really. This is the only other area I've done this. I've never been a huge fan of it, but with all the things on the side and extra details, I do actually like it quite a bit. It's coming together. Little by little. We're making this whole base better. I also widened this today. It's a little jank looking, but it's, it was the only way to get this to line up properly, or else it was going to be like one like that. So I was like, well, we got to mess with it. Or no, this would have had to go like that. Because I can't do a half one, or like it was originally. But it's coming together. Oh, it's a browser extension? Yikes. Why is all the stuff you want gotta be so many random steps? Alright, we can get this built. I like the symmetry in this room. I don't really need a staircase. But I'm going to build a staircase out to this level so I have a way to get out to the main out area. That's the plan. So we might work on that a little bit tonight. Just getting the whole inside designed little by little. Just an add-on. I know, I just don't like dealing with it. What are you doing? Hello? Think that might actually create a weird gap. Gotta check that. Yeah, I was gonna say the KEK W is definitely not working. It's just you typing. How does a browser extension make any difference for other people, though? It seems weird. So we should move all this other stuff. These built too. Hopefully these place right. This one, first one was being jank. Yeah, it's not a happy camper. Get in your home. Isn't your home? Can make me editor in 7TV, so you don't have to worry about it. Well, I'm the one person because I have never even heard of it. I'm a boomer, remember? Come on. Perfect, maybe. Close as it's gonna get, apparently. Who made it night? My bed in here. I got ahead of myself. Go to their website and follow a 3-minute step guide. That's more helpful. Show me the guide and then it's easy. I can follow steps. I suck at everything else though. I'm like compared to your average tech person, I'm probably light years ahead of them, but compared to anyone that knows like anything hardly at all about technology of any kind, I'm pretty worthless. Not my cup of tea. Here, I'll open it and I'll look into it after stream. You ever figure out a definitive range for the player pulling items from chest? We can show you real quick. But I did test out from here, from this oven to this center block, like right in the middle here, maybe slightly off-centered. That's how far those reach. But if you wanted to do it like, let's just say, we'll just move it because this is ash cement, right? Somewhere here. Don't load in fast enough. That's as close as we can get to the ash cement one. You can build it there. You can build it there. Wait, you can build it everywhere. What am I trying to do? It's the other way around. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's, let's do it like directly in line too. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5-ish. You're not being annoying, don't worry, man. I'm more being lazy because it takes a lot of work. Did you get that, Jay? Did I go too fast? Is it here? No, it was here. Yeah, technically you could reach from that side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we'll probably call that a half. 6.5 blocks is how far your player can go. But now you got weird emotes working. But if you have the handy net, then you can go anywhere and it doesn't matter. And then you would call that went to the center. Is where that chest was. So maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's about the same for everything. 6.5-ish blocks. It doesn't though. What? Who? Who that? Who that? Why you do that there? I'm finally starting to get small amounts of lag. Crazy. Took ages. Only when using the handy net though. Just something about the handy net being weird. That's not right. We need stairs. We do need to grow big. You right. Takes time. But every little thing like that does end up kind of helping in the long run. Is that right? The other way, isn't it? Yeah. Do that every time. Been testing too, but it's strange. I was trying to do it in tiles, but I think the game has an invisible sphere. Yeah, I think it's more of a sphere than a square. This is an angle though. That's not gonna work. Crud. Okay, we'll have to mess with that because that's gonna mess with all of these rooms. That's annoying. I didn't think about that. It's a problem for future timber. Yeah, there isn't really any other like building specific game right now that's gonna like exponentially gonna grow the stream, unfortunately. There's like decent ones, but there's like from other streamers I've watched, there's not like any specific game that's like doing well in terms of. Yeah, it's not Minecraft ain't happening though. I have zero enjoyment playing Minecraft now. I played so much of it. I can't do it anymore. No longer an enjoyable game for me. Not a bad game, but it's no longer all that fun. I don't love this. I gotta figure out how to make this design better. It's not bad, but it's not great. I think Enshrouded will get bigger and better once it's on console. So I just need to start playing it a little more here and there. I just need to get to the point where I can just build exclusively, and then I think it'll be an easier thing to transition to. But the story, like just playing the game, does not do very well. Certain build videos do well, but it's super sporadic and random why and when they do well. I can't figure that out yet. There's some videos that have an insane amount of views and some really good videos that get literally nothing. What else am I gonna play though? I'm not doing like let's plays. Like I have no interest in doing just playing other games. Like I want to build. That's what I enjoy doing. I'm not gonna have fun or be entertaining doing just randomness. That's the hard part. So it's finding a game that actually is hyped. But I think Enshrouded will be more that as it goes in out of early access and gets on console. It'll have a resurgence at least. But no game is forever other than Minecraft. That's just kind of life, sadly. There are very few games that'll be like Minecraft. But if I was just playing, like, if Grounded 2 came out, we would kill it in 2 years. And that's also why I'm just kind of continuing to play Grounded, because like there's no other game that's really gonna gain massive amounts of followers at this point that I can find. I follow a lot of builders on YouTube and stuff. I've seen Planet Zoo, but it's not like an appealing building game to me in the same way that Grounded is. I'm more survival than anything, is like what I enjoy doing. I find it a little more difficult to enjoy. Like my wife loves The Sims. I can't even go near it. I don't have hardly any fun trying to play The Sims. I might play some Stardew here and there with my wife. She wouldn't like talk, but we would stream it. So there's a little potential there. That game is always pretty hype. But that might just be like a random thing here and there. When she feels like it. You never know when she wants to play it. And like Sunken Land's fine, but the viewership's not that much better on that as compared to anything else right now either. They're all just kind of like, eh. I hate the style of Sons of the Forest though. That's my problem with it. Like, visually, I hate that type of survival game. That's why I don't play things like Sunken Land or Once Human or those things. Like, I don't like that RuneScape semi-realism. Like, it's trying to be realistic, but it's not. It's just not good enough graphics to do it. And when I watched See-Through play Sons of the Forest, the building looked like so miserably boring to me. I just don't like the style of those games. Like, I don't know what to call it. I enjoy the uniqueness of the art style of Grounded is more so what I'm saying. All the other survival games that are like, you're an actual person and the graphics are semi-realistic like that, they just look unappealing. Like, the houses are too boring and realistic. Or like log cabins and stuff. Plus, the viewership's not all that much better on those games currently, anyways, for building at least. We'll find it in time. In the meantime, I'm enjoying playing Grounded, so that's what I'm sticking with. What's up, Squarish Plum? How's it going, man? Gotta do this again. This? Hello? I don't know, we'll figure it out. I'm not like too worried about it. Things come as they come, you know. Expanding to other games will help, but I mean, if I'm not interested in just playing a game to grow. Like, I want to enjoy the game at the same time. That's key. I think that's what, like, See-Through's ultimate downfall was he was playing games that he just didn't enjoy, and he was always looking for the next big thing because he had to make a living doing this. And he didn't have much choice. He either had made money or he starved. And it just ruins the enjoyment of the game itself by forcing growth over anything. So for me, the only way I can do it is by enjoyment. Like, I have no interest in just doing it to do it. We'll figure it out as we go, but growth for the sense of growth isn't as appealing. We'll grow more successfully in the long run by just sticking with what we're good at, instead of catering to the newest, best, coolest thing. Yeah, and I have a full-time job, so if this is all I did, I would be doing exactly what you're saying. Just like, I'd be playing anything and everything and doing whatever it took. But as a side thing for fun and enjoyment and just chilling, and I'm enjoy this game enough to do it most nights, I'm all good with where we're at for now. We grow as we grow. But I do have a TikTok. If you're not, it's Timber Grounded. Unfortunately, I couldn't use just Timber Builds. So I think it's Timber Builds Grounded if you want to check out my TikTok. It just has some of the same YouTube shorts I have currently on the channel. And I am working on a handful of YouTube shorts. I just have to finish some more of these builds to be able to do them. So as we finish those, then I will post more stuff. I just haven't made like shorts content really recently. Hello, place. This is being weird. Being so annoying. I want to use that block. Fine, gosh. Eat your dinner, Tina, you fat lard. But I should have some YouTube short content, and I'll essentially post it to TikTok too, since that's all it is. I don't know why I'm building these like that. I think it's the lighting, actually. That's what I was doing. The lighting looked cool doing this specifically this way. Looks that See-Through lost his desire for playing Grounded. He's the reason I found you, and I don't know any other builders. Yeah. Stream, the views are very few, and more often than not, it's somebody that just wants to watch WoW mode combat. Yeah. What do you mean promote my stream? On TikTok? Something build. Get in there. Yeah, I mean, I could do more like... I mean, I just have to continue making YouTube shorts that I churn. When I make a YouTube short, I post it on TikTok. Like, every YouTube short I've made is on TikTok. If you follow my TikTok. Yeah, and then you just connect your socials to it. Why is that side building and this side not? So random. So go follow my TikTok velocity. Those? No. Yeah, we'll build good. I mean, once I find another game I like eventually to build in, I'm sure we'll grow more, but for the time being, it's more about having fun and just catering to the community we have. Building a good foundation. Says it on TikTok? Barrels at my local market, I had to buy them for my childhood memories, like the red monkey barrels. Or something else. Alright, how do I want to cover this? What do I do here? Put a floor, I guess. Do this. Little jank. There's two grids going on being silly. That'll be good enough. I'll hide that stuff. I might use a half block there, honestly. Have a TikTok, use Instagram. Yeah, I never, oh, the drinks. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. It has been a long time since I've seen those. Yeah, it is a bit of a bummer. Sorry, I didn't finish my sentence to you, Jay. A bummer that he lost his drive for Grounded, but I don't think... I think he just was spending too much time focused on the metrics, sadly. Because he was doing it, like this was his full-time job. All he could focus on was whether or not he was making money. Unfortunately, Grounded got to the point where it wasn't making consistent enough money for someone to make a living on. That's why all the other Grounded guys left. I think his community was probably big enough to continue his growth for a while if he would have just, like, committed fully to Grounded. But you gotta do what you gotta do, you know. Because I'm bummed he left too. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching his stuff all the time. He was the reason I started streaming and everything, so gotta give him props where I can. Half block here. Yeah. It's getting dark out. DM me or add 7TV yourself if you want to. Yeah, I'll look at it after stream and stuff. I gotta actually sit there and read it. I don't want to like read and try to follow a a guide or whatever after, but I can check it out tonight or tomorrow when I have time. Yeah, there aren't many people doing it anymore, but I tried to pick up the pick up where he had left off with doing base tours and stuff. Ludorev's my consistent person currently. Every time he does a new build, he reaches out. I have one other person I've just struggled to actually like lock down a time with, is the only thing, because I've been so busy. I just want to help you. Yeah, for sure, man. No, it's just like the Discord. I know you're here to help in the long run. I think the chaos of having a young child is mostly what it's just like. There's no free time anymore. I don't have time to sit at my computer. Like, what I do is in my little breaks at work and stuff. Like if I have a break during work, during lunch, that kind of stuff. Dude, we can get cheap viewers, Velocity. We're set. We can look at who needs your website when we can get cheap viewers on *****. Let's do it. Give me them viewers, man. I like that. Let's go. But if there is people on the wow, my voice cracked a little bit there. If there is people that want to show off their bases, I am doing that. You have to be flexible in times, and time zones are really tough. And then you have to be patient with the video editing and stuff as well. He's ignoring you, I know. Who just like whips out this like free views, man, and then just like steals it away? Don't even tell us how. How am I supposed to get my views? This is my most expensive idea, man. Why do I do this to myself? But how cool does that look? And it's hidden on the inside. Sub knife. It's hidden when I fill this wall up on the inside. That. I don't know if I have the balls just yet, but I might post some stuff in your Discord if I can get good enough photo with my phone. Do it, man. It is a safe place. No one's there to judge you. We're all here to help, like, make builds better, man. There's zero judgment. There's no good or bad building. It's just you build what you can build, and you improve on it as you go. Hello? Where are my free viewers? Velocity, what is this? Might use some of these details. I'm not totally sure yet. Like erase some of that. I don't know. Whoa. He's got the octopus of death. Yeah, everyone needs their prime subs. Get them. What's happening? What is this? What are you doing? What's the other way? Hello? There. Alright, that's better. Still figuring out this. I was messing with that earlier. Gave 2 subs? Why is it not showing? What I don't get is it's going on. Like on YouTube, it just shows. It doesn't even say in chat. Well, thank you, Knife. I appreciate that, man. I'll see if I can figure out how to get this thing real fast. Got the do this real fast. Grounded. There we go. Let's see what we can do. Description names, no. Notes, no, no. This is the struggle with Twitch, is it has so much more everything. It takes a lot. It's a lot harder to figure out where everything is. Content, no. Got 4. Did you do 3? You gifted 2 and did 1? Is that what I'm seeing? What's happening? I don't even see nothing that's like notifications on. How does it not just tell you that you got a sub? It's so random. It'd just be like an automatic thing. I don't get it. Nothing in settings to do anything. Is it not just a setting? Activity. It's like alerts. This is a lot. I found the alerts, but it's not a quick thing. Yeah, because Stream Elements has so much randomness going on, I haven't had time to look into it. I started looking at it on OBS, and it's way too chaotic in OBS. I didn't like it. There's an alert in Twitch. I gotta mess with that after stream. Way too much setup. Yeah, well, I'm not everyone. I'm not a sheep. Just because the cool kids do it. You say easily like I have time to sit and mess with this stuff all day, every day. I ain't got no time. Typically have enough time in the day to make a quick little thing. And I finish stream and go hang out with my wife afterwards. A dwarf and I'm digging a hole. Diggy diggy hole. Great song. Great song. I'll figure it all out as we go, but the Twitch stuff is like, it literally just unlocked some of that, most of the stuff yesterday or the other day. So it's been a process of like, it doesn't just unlock one piece, like it was like slowly adding. Like I didn't have access the first day, so I've been waiting for the certain things to unlock, because not everything just unlocks once you hit affiliate. VIP in chat? Is that Bob Ross? You're the GOAT? I mean, when you're good, right? Alright, so we gotta do this. That, yeah. Keep it consistent all the way down. Spend all the ash cement that I spent ages collecting. Rise slowly. I will waste it all. How do I give it to him? Watch him, mod him, time him out, or ban him. VIP isn't enough. All I can do is make him a mod, warn him, time him out, or ban him. I don't think that's the goal. Settings and manage goals? Roles, there it is. X's. Where 9026. Did that work? Did we do it? Did it work? It says Knife Dragon 026. Yeah. Got it right. I'd make Uzin VIP as well if he... I don't think he's ever on Twitch hardly though. He's typically on the YouTube. Oh, all my ash cement gone. Oh no. It hurts, but it looks so good. Yeah, your VIP knife for all the gifties. You the man. There's not really anything cool I can give you on YouTube. Man, he's the man. Man. Don't make it very easy to mess with Twitch while you're on stream. That's the annoying part. Gift leader, a founder, and a VIP. Eat a man. 6 more subs to go, and we hit our first goal. Too laggy having Twitch open is the issue. You give him permission, like you weren't the one who wanted him to be VIP. And one of your selling points was so he could spam. I don't even know if I like that cross thing. It's not bad though. Maybe a good place to do lighting, I guess, now that I think about it. Beautiful. That looks stupid. Needs to be down in there. I don't have one of these. Wait, did that show up right? Alright, I put it in the wrong spot. I knew it. Do it. Do it. Dang it. Dang it, I can't see. I think that should work. Oops. No. Do what I'm telling you to do. Still needs to go lower. Sure, that's better. That'll work. Aha, I can go through the gnat hole to make sure I did it right. Perfect. So the inside of this is going to be like a massive library, but then I also want to make some crazy stair things and figure out how to make this look cool and have like stairs going different ways and all over the place. It's going to be pretty interesting once we really get going. Can you leave, sir? Get out of here. Gnat punched. Punch him in the gnats. Okay. Coming together. I don't know how I like that. But I don't really like this because I can't do it the way I want to do it. Grounded hates me. I have to get some ash cement cooking here too. Before we completely run out. And I'm gonna have to be careful about not using every single piece of ash cement and stuff that I have, like always leaving it on one. So I can always refill these chests, because I do not want to have to manually add these in ever again. It's been a pain, because like none of the names load fast enough, so you have to like remember which thing had what in it. Or stand there for way too. I'll need lots of lint. Got fast enough to get all the messages? Mine? What messages? Did he actually spam? Did keep. Whoa. No. That was a lot of spam. No, I don't think it showed 90%. It must be because of the multi-chat. It only showed the first time you hit that emoji. After the first one, it didn't show anymore. Which works, right? I'm still missing. Restream is really weird to like get used to. Kind of funky. I like that I can let people be on both platforms, so that part doesn't suck, but like the interface itself is kind of poo-poo. Not a huge fan of it, it just functions well in the sense that it allows me to stream on both. Someone does a sub gift and everyone spams hearts, you won't see it? Nope, I will not at this point. And if I open up Twitch and like have another thing open, it just ends up making my stream laggy. Makes everything crappy, unfortunately. Build these like this. And I'll destroy the ones I have out there so I don't have to rework them. Oh no. Go home. Oh, you know you want to. Yo. Perfect. I think this bottom floor is going to lay out pretty well overall. How you doing, Nation? Sounds good, knife. Yeah, a few. I'm so bummed that I can't use this detail anymore. It's exactly what I wanted with these windows. I'm so bummed. I mean, I won't see that they spam hearts, but I'll see that everyone hit it at least once. We'll figure it out as we go. It's one of those things I'm just going to have to keep testing to figure out how to work with multiple streams and systems and stuff. If I was affiliate on Twitch, I'd probably contemplate just streaming on Twitch and then posting the VODs, but not currently the most viable option. That or that? We'll get there though. Figure it out as we go. Boarding. Get out of there. I wish I could just sit and mess with this stuff, but it's such a pain. Just randomly do all day. So many other random crap going on a daily basis right now. On Twitch or that. On Twitch or Restream, there's nothing. $40 bits. Let's go, man. Thank you. So weird. You have to set up like a normal alert. Doesn't do anything. How do you have to set up? It doesn't just say like here, like a really basic. It doesn't even show in chat though. Like, how are you seeing that it did it? Is what I'm confused about. There's literally no messages in chat for any. That's what has me so confused. It'd be one thing if it was like it just didn't have a cool notification, but it doesn't make sense that it doesn't even say anything. Whoa, what the heck is that? I can see that when I have Twitch open. It's just a small, on Restream, it's just like a normal sized email. But if I have YouTube, or if I have Twitch open, then it looks huge. Very weird. These are also things like I'm not a... I use Twitch on a daily basis, but I do not use any extensions or anything whatsoever. I literally just like... I like watching on Twitch. Because the people that I watch are on Twitch. I don't really interact with chat all that much because I'm typically like... and just have it on while I'm working or hanging out, whatever it is. So I know very little about it. It's not lazy. You don't have a child. You'll never understand. I have no time during the day to do anything. If I'm not working, I'm taking care of my kid now. Like there's no other time. He wants to use his bits, let him use his bits. He earned them. Hard work, baby. Can't tell a man what to do with his life. Exactly. He may be OSHA and in control of the chat. He can't tell you how to live your life. Everything except nothing. $5,000. I don't even know how many 5,000 bits is. I have no clue what the conversion rate is. Think about that one. It's making my head hurt. 90 bits. This man crazy. Twitch is like a frickin' endless pit of options. Which is cool as we keep going, but man, is it feel like a shit show when you have no clue what you're doing yet. $64? Don't you dare. That's way too much. $1? Wait, it's only 64 duelers? Finally made one of your live streams. Let's go. Welcome in. Gam Gam? If I said that correctly. Hope you're having a good night. You watched them all day? Holy cow, man. There's no way I'm interesting enough to watch later on. Glad you guys find me interesting. I'm like, I don't feel it. You want to spend money on a stream, you just sub once every month. That's all you got to do. You ain't got to go crazy. Plenty of support. Didn't end up working out like perfectly layout wise as well as I'd like, since technically you can double it up on these, but they wouldn't place, sadly. But I think this is absolutely more than enough jerky racks that I will ever use. Are you an actual architect? I do not currently work at an architecture firm any longer. I worked at an architecture firm growing up, interning through school and stuff. I have a degree, a bachelor's of architecture, and then worked at a firm for a few years and ended up deciding to change some things up in my life when I finished college, and decided that the work-life balance of architecture wasn't currently what I was looking for, and I randomly ended up finding a job at an architectural site furnishings company. So we sell the products that architects use on projects for like parks, benches, bollards, bike racks, all that kind of random stuff. But I did go to school for it, and it definitely helps me here, I'd say. All the building and craziness. Sounds good, Velocity. Thanks for hanging out, man. Try to look into the 7 TV thing as well at some point. Here in the near future. Got a busy weekend. Friends and family and stuff coming over, but we will see what happens. Worst comes to it, I typically can work on things a little bit more during the week when I have slow time, and during the day when my kid's being at the babysitters. Yeah, as long as I can figure out the part of getting you to do it, then it's easy. It's the me having to spend all day doing it. Use my grounded builds in the portfolio. I wish. But I do like the idea of potentially using my YouTube experience, content creation and stuff to eventually start reaching out to game developing firms and trying to do consulting on building mechanics and stuff as I learn, and like maybe testing specific building mechanics over time. I think would be pretty cool. I have a family friend that started working with consulting in that aspect, and it's been really cool kind of hearing about their experience. Whether it becomes like more YouTube stuff, more streaming, or maybe it opens some other doors for me as time goes on. Could be pretty fun. A lot of random things. I have a lot of random skills that I could utilize over time. Do a lot of randomness, I think. Just currently figuring out what the long-term goal is. But while I have a young child, it's just kind of like having fun streaming. Make a little bit of extra money here and there, and then we see how we can develop that into potentially bigger, better things over time. How do you get a tiered sub? You should just be able to sub, but with a specific tier. I have to look at someone's. There's names. You should be able to sub with different tiers at this point. Pretty sure they're set up correctly. I make no promises. I ain't an expert, but I at least uploaded the different tiers the same way that YouTube has them set up. So you're an apprentice builder to so on and so forth. Apprentice, journeyman, and then master are the tier 1, 2, and 3 subs currently. That just became available today, though, so I haven't been able to mess with it all that much yet. Might be weird because you already subbed as well. See you, Velocity. See ya, Velocity. A great rest of your night, man. Catch y'all on the next one. We're running out. Stay on top of this. Oh, yeah. That's cool that you can at least override it. You don't have to like resub as like a secondary thing. That'd be kind of lame. Well, so you can type on Discord, but and hang out, chat. I see how it is. No, it's cool. I'm grounded right now. Gonna give this Thorn builds a shot with the Mantis that Seedinky shouted out. Yeah, it's a. I haven't tested it since they messed with it, but it's still pretty strong, I think. You can react tomorrow. Yeah, this afternoon for you. I guess it's very different time zones. Dang. I wish I was a fish. Can't I angle you? Why? Wait, where's my picture? Pinging me. Oh, yeah. Velocity. Well, if I miss anything on Twitch, let me know, y'all. How we looking? Gotta do another thumbnail of it sometime soon, so I gotta figure out another it's from. These bridges are now in the way. I like them, they're functional, but they're in the way for my image. Can't do this. Do it from above. It's kind of not as cool. Something like down here, I guess. Yeah, gonna be a hard one to get pictures of. Catch all these fun little details. Excited to finish up some of these different builds as I go as well. So I can start finishing. I have a YouTube short made up of like a compilation sort of montage video, like I've done in most of my videos, of this and this. Now that this is done, I can do this actually and that, because I did that lighting. I need to do more work on this to be able to finish that up. This one, I've already posted these. I don't know if I've done this though. The Wizard Tower. I might be able to do the Wizard Tower, and then we finish this up, and then once this base is, this whole workshop tower, whatever I'm gonna call it, is finished up, and maybe that, I'm gonna do an overall tour and just finish up maybe the foundations, and then we'll start working on the housing districts after that. But it's getting close. Finish that up, and then I'll do like an actual YouTube video on it, like a tour. I think even people that have watched stream consistently haven't necessarily seen every little detail of these spaces. That. I'm fine with this though. These are good little like light wells. Collect some ash cement as well. It's a little late. I do the summon builds work. I literally have never once used the summon build. But essentially, it's from what my experience is, the trinkets are ridiculous. There's so many options now, but you'd want to use Mysterious Stranger and Mom Jeans. And then technically, I don't know enough about like the min-maxing of like what is actually good, but you can use the whittling trinket. Unfortunately, which isn't an option, which is really weird to me. It's not an option on the new trinkets in New Game Plus, sadly. So you'd probably be better off in New Game Plus, at least, using a trinket with like summons. There's so many summons options. I don't even know what would be best. I think it's the hard part. But then it's just you use some type of fast attacking weapon, because the on hit is what, the faster your attack speed, the more potential you're going to have for spawning in summons. At least from my understanding of it. And then there's, I think it's a Summons Thorns build, right? You just would need some trinket with Summon Thorns on it, and then from there you just go crazy. The more things that spawn, the better off you are. Thought I heard that. Because there's a Thorns build, and then there's like Summon Thorns as well. But as long as you have a trinket with Summon Thorns, you just need to spawn stuff, and then the damage they take does extra damage as well.
Gonna have a look around.
You did. I want to fight you. But I think if CD Inky C Dinky has videos on it, you're way better off watching his videos because he has a much better understanding of like the random combat mechanics than I ever will. I'm definitely, that's why we have a one of our, well, you're on YouTube. That's why we have a emote that is we build not battle. That one specifically for that reason. Because I'm not great at combat in this game. I don't know a whole lot about it. I'm decent at it, but in terms of like numbers and stuff, it's more just like I'm decent at perfect blocking compared to anything else. I don't know any other numbers. I just follow other people's guides for the most part. Make it work as we go. Ooh, I got a cone. A bad cone. I want that. Need to go to New Game Plus 6 so just so I can get a sizzle immunity hammer. I don't have to carry this thing around anymore. Or if I could find the same trinket I currently have with quickness, lifesteal, and sizzle immunity, then it'd be perfect and I wouldn't care anymore. I'd be alright with that. Like half tempting, but the third one's so bad that it doesn't even matter. Yeah, like summon crit, summon poison, there's so many options. Dang. So I've been trying to find a trinket that has fresh damage up best, salt damage up best, spicy damage up best. Nearly impossible to find, but that's the second one that I found with 2 out of the 3. Yeah, I got spicy fresh, salt fresh. So close. But so far. That'd be a really good just like trinket to carry around. For just like around the yard fighting. I think you do massive damage with one and you wouldn't have to really compromise on anything else. Since all of my weapons have essentially what I need, it'd make each one of them exponentially better. I can also get these placed on the other side. My internet went out for a while. You didn't miss much, man. Hardly anything at all, I would say. Just building. We did some ash cement farming. Velocity left. Just cleaning up some stuff here and there. Just adding these little details in as we go. Ugh. A bunch of yard work today, it sucked. Trying to bring our lawn back to life, as boring as that is. I buy velocity? What does that even mean? I don't think I'd be in charge of that. He's got control of his own body, you know? I don't know if I could sell him as a commodity quite yet. What if we just continued what we were doing? There was. Yeah, you can have multiple mods. I don't understand what, can I buy velocity? What do you mean by velocity? Buy mod or buy velocity? They're very different things. Moved the whole thing up. Did the same pattern actually. 8. This. Not good enough. What do you mean by him? Buy him mod? I don't get it. I'm lost. Buy him his decoration? Again, I don't know how to monetize the sale of velocity. Not really sure how to give you that option. That would imply that I have like some form of ownership over him, which I don't think I do. Picture keeps going away. So, add in this detail, and the question is, this probably has to be at least 2 thick, which I don't love. Does full block look like angled? I knew it. That's what I thought. Can't even switch it, which is the dumb part. Dang you grounded devs and my lack of options. I think this will probably work fine actually. I like that has sort of a horizontal line to it. Key here. Actually, now that I'm thinking about this, I want that to be just these ones to stick out. What type of roof? It will look like this. So the idea is to follow something along these lines. I might have just this center one come out and be a big thing and then build some other little angular things similar to how I was doing this or that. Not totally sure how it's going to end up, but something with these like pointy things continued as I go. I don't think I really have them anywhere else, but we'll have some aspect of that. And then it'll just be like flat on top, nothing crazy. Not really like anything useful to do up here that I can think of. Wish that was the same. Why does it have this? You gotta do that. It would look so much cleaner without that. Dang. Fine, but kind of do the same thing. But then this middle one, I think I want it to stick out. So we continue this pattern. Hey, you do what you're told. And I can make one of these. And then who knows what we do from here. It's gonna be interesting. I don't know. It'll take some thinking through game planning on how I'm gonna do these points. Should probably work on making the inside more functional so I don't have to run inside and outside of the base as much. Like, this should be inside. Probably move some ovens in. I really need all of this set up though before I go too crazy. I think I'm just gonna destroy all of these and just rebuild them inside. I have most of what I need. Pretty cheap, yeah. I have crap tons of all of this. Yeah, then the bottom, I might make like a room at the very, very, very top. I don't think I'm gonna need chests all the way to the top here, so at some point I'm gonna have to do like a floor. But maybe not. I don't fully know yet. That's kind of hard to say. This is not okay though. Can't be out here having these at different angles, man. Dude. That was disgusting looking. Yeah, this is gonna be the hard part. Figuring out if I do maybe something more. I could, that's the weird part. I could do this up the middle. Or like this. Might look maybe a little overkill, or could be part of it actually. Because this is all supposed to be one over. Which will help a lot in how this looks currently. This might actually work. It means I might have to change the middle one, but that's fine. I like maybe doing something like that, finishing. Mess with the height that those end at. But then we have to be near our materials. It's supposed to be in your house. I don't know why they allow them to walk around if it's like in its house. Did already do that here, so this might work perfect actually. So if I just did that, that's it. Need to come out more then. I think half is gonna look too small. If it was like this. Half a little block, it's kind of funky. Maybe not though. I don't know. For consistency's sake is all I'm doing that for. I wouldn't really need this. We could do full pieces up. These would work fine here, and then maybe these. Yikes, that's a lot of cement. I have to take the middle piece out to do that part, but that's probably fine. Saves me some material, I guess. How did these work? I didn't even have anything. Wait. Weird. Works there. I want this to be maybe sort of its own thing at the same time as being interesting and hard to figure out exactly how I want to do this though. I have to build to see how it works, I guess. That might look cool. Some like messing around with this a little bit more. We can make something pretty cool here with just this design. It has smaller point. The downside there is that this becomes like a half block instead of a full block. But proportionately, that might make more sense. I guess the question is, do these want to be on the inside or the outside? Hey, get back in your home. Means then we gotta do this for sure. Is there a world where this looks cooler or something? interesting. It's really expensive for no reason, but isn't that what we do here? Spend way too much on materials. I think there's a world where something like this starts to make sense. Not sure what it is yet, though. Because I could take... Chat's tired? Yeah, all good. Wait, that needs to stay. That is all good. Sometimes that's just how streams go, you know? Could just use all singles on that, I guess. I really want this to be... build in. We'd have to do those. But we know we're doing these. We know we're out of ash cement. I swear I collected so much ash cement before. Not anyways. Knife's here though. It's all good. From the sounds of it, Uzin is in another universe. If you catch my drift. Sent me a Discord message earlier today. I was like, I think he probably forgot he may even exist. Yeah, all good, Jeremy. Enjoy the COD. Every once in a while, COD does sound very fun. I haven't played COD in so long, though. It'd be so bad right now. He's like a twice-baked potato. That's probably the perfect way to explain it. Twice-baked potato. It's a totally different level. Oh, man.
I'm burning up.
He's like a twice-baked potato you accidentally forgot about as well. Fun thing I learned earlier today. So, like, anything that's on this side of this area, I'll burn in. But something about just I'm at the right height now in this area, I no longer have to worry about the sizzle on this part of the base. So that's nice. He's in Deep Space Galactica. For sure. What's your next build idea for after the sandbox? Ooh, haven't thought that far ahead. We gotta finish this whole thing. We have to build out to the sides here. If I ever get this far. This is so much weed stems, it might kill me. It's an idea that I want to have mushroom covering the sides, and maybe these are just sticking up, or I build over them or something. But the goal would be to build over the entire sandbox. And then we have to build out whatever's going to be here, which was maybe like a market or something. I haven't fully figured this idea out. I have to finish this roof area, which is going to be like a cool rooftop deck. I have to find a way to make all these dead street spaces way more interesting. All of this is going to be like houses and like a marketplace in here. Houses throughout there. There's a whole build underneath this build that's just like dungeon areas that I have to finish. To build this whole stinking thing out as well, all the way over to here. Build housing throughout here. I have to finish building this space. So I gotta build the floor out, and then I'm gonna build floating candle sap sconces and make this like a great hall area. We have to then build the little crypt area at some point. Build like a crypt under here, but it got blown up by antlions when I was doing the Java-matic defenses, or the mixer defenses. And then any other random crap. Like I wanted to build out like armor dummies like this all throughout the base as well at some point. and have them like placed all over, so we'd have to do that. I have nothing inside of any of these spaces. I have detailing and stuff that I still want to get done. Like, I never really built this out as much as I would have liked to, and I made like some weird stuff in here for no reason that I might change to use the space better. Not a whole lot going on in these. These spaces are just stairs. This stuff's all really done. Like, every time we get a new president, which is a Discord role, they'll go here. I still have... This thing's pretty much done. There might be a few details. I gotta break some materials down, finish the roof. And then once all of that's done, or if I get bored with the housing, because I think the housing is going to be a weak link for me. I've not built a whole lot of small houses in Grounded yet. So that's going to be an interesting challenge of building all sorts of, like, a blacksmith house and a tailor, but with just going to be like spinners and that kind of stuff. Then an armory and a bug mount thing and like all sorts of different craziness. Then on top of that, I want to come out here, and if you're a Game of Thrones fan, build all these. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, or you know anything about Game of Thrones, there's a dragon pit, because that's roughly what the city started off as, is based off of Game of Thrones King's Landing city, and it's sort of taken its own shape from what I want to do. But I want to build a dragon pit base out here, which will sort of... I can pull up it. Will end up looking... This is the Game of Thrones one, so it'd be a massive column style build with some big stairs. Another view of an idea for it. It'd be massive and insane. And the goal was, I had figured out at one point that you could teleport bugs with the telepodies. Unfortunately, they only stay for a specific amount of time. So what I'll have to do is I just want to use it for a video. So it'll be massive. I mean, it's literally going to be like this entire thing, covering this entire area. It'll probably take out some of these weed stems as well, and who knows, maybe go up in some of the... it might be end up that it's built over this space, or like half of this space, and then I build a floor out with foundations or something, and then all the dragon pits themselves are sort of hidden under this area. That way I can build them down in the ground, and then we'll teleport like black widows and black ox beetles and random stuff that we can teleport. The coolest bugs, a moth, I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go. Moths could be kind of cool because they're docile, which is nice. Whereas a black widow will attack us. So if I can get them all teleported in like a short span of time, I have not tested this, so I have no clue if it's going to be like easy or difficult in any way, shape, or form. And then they only spawn, so like a black widow takes 13 days to respawn after you kill it. It will stay in this area for 13 days, and then it will spawn back. So it'd have to be a very quick process. But if I can do that and then add that in as like the tour, do a tour of it or something, that'd be really cool. So that's sort of the idea. And then past that, I have no clue. Anything past the sandbox build is beyond me at this point. I have a huge list of random ideas. That would probably be pretty cool, but none of them are necessarily something I'm like super, super interested in doing at this exact time. God, I never built this, so might as well, right? We got the materials. Finish one more random thing. It was just a little lookout tower a while back. Finish as much as we possibly can. As soon as we finish this next build, I'd like to get a YouTube video up. Like a mini tour, sort of. Be mini, but it would be one of the longer tour videos I've made, honestly. There's so much randomness, but I'd like to get something up on it, just so because I haven't done a whole lot of videos. There's a lot of live streams on the sandbox, but not a whole lot of YouTube videos yet. That works for me. Boom. Got a little lookout now. Another thing done. Cross it off the list. Start collecting ash cement. Keep forgetting about it. Waiting too late in the day. I want to wait till 1800 to go collect it. Gotta be more efficient than that. But yeah, I mean, I think there's enough building to do with the current ideas that I have for months. Quite a few months of more grounded content. And as I get more free time here and there. Welcome back, knife. As I get more free time. Sorry, my neck is killing me today. As we get more free time, and I fix my life. Life's hard with a young 1.5-year-old to get a lot of stuff done on a daily basis, but as I figure things out and get more consistent with everything, I'm gonna try to spend some time playing Enshrouded. Trying to just finish all the story, get all of the building blocks, and then we'll start building an Enshrouded as we slow our grounded play down. But I have so much fun building in this game, I don't have like a huge desire to like branch out currently. I enjoy Enshrouded, I think it's really interesting, but it still has a lot of work to go to make it like thoroughly enjoyable. In terms of building, the building mechanics are just a little jank. And take a lot of time to get used to, so. I'm fine struggling on stream, but I think I want to finish the rest of the like story content stuff so I can just farm and do stuff and be more knowledgeable about the game. Because currently I just know so little about it, I don't even know where to start with building. Game of Thrones fan, is House of the Dragon worth it? I haven't started it yet. As long as you're willing to go into it with an open mind. I like to think of it as I really, really enjoy it because I enjoy the history behind it and like the continuation of the Game of Thrones story that I really, really enjoyed. Game of Thrones wasn't perfect by any means. They made a lot of random mistakes as they went along, and they sped up things that they shouldn't have, and we can talk about it for days about things they could have or should have done differently. But overall, I am a huge fan of Game of Thrones. I really enjoyed the series as a whole. So as long as you're interested, all of my fave people in Game of Thrones died. I mean, everyone died, didn't they? As long as you're someone who enjoys the story and is okay with like I like to think of it as the first season of Game of Thrones to me was so incredibly slow. Like, it's just so incredibly slow. And if you're like open to that like mindset that like there's a lot of really good parts and there's a lot of setup that they're going through. Because I think they're maybe trying to milk the time frame a little bit more than they probably need to. So there are some slow parts to it, but the good parts are really interesting. And I think the connection and like the understanding you get of like you hear about the Dance of the Dragons and little bits and pieces in Game of Thrones. So um as long as you have a slightly open mind and you enjoy the idea of like just learning more about the history of the whole thing, it's really interesting. It's just slower than I think it should be, is the only thing that my biggest complaint is that it's a little slow getting started. Me a couple tries to get through season 1 before I got completely hooked. Yeah, my wife was literally obsessed. She skipped half of the first season. Like literally easily the first 5 or 6 episodes almost. She just was like, "Nope, I'm good." She eventually went back, but they're slow. There's a lot of just story and buildup, and they go through a lot of information. And like the timeline is so ridiculously long. Like House of Dragons goes through multiple actors for each person, so it's like it's a different pace of show than most, which some people will enjoy. I've loved every second of it so far. I just think the getting to see the dragons and the battles and all that stuff, to me alone, is worth the wait. Like, I'm hooked at this point. Oh no. House of Dragons tie into the Game of Thrones show other than being a prequel? I think it does. In the sense that, like, everything they talked about in Game of Thrones is represented in like the Song of Ice and Fire. That is the premise of why Game of Thrones was even a thing. Is like the main focus point. Dude, what is this? Why are you not placing this? Yeah, I think it was. Wife and I are on episode 3. We'll give it another try or show. Yeah, you have to be very patient with it. But if you're interested in the thing, and the dragon stuff is it's so cool to me. I think that's what I'm most excited about on a regular basis with it, is that there's so many new dragons and additions. As you learn to like the actors as well, you'll like it more and more. But it takes a bit. My only complaint is that it is a little slower. But when they go from like... They go 0 to 100 out of nowhere. Like, I think what people struggle with is like it's 0 to 100 when they do it. Like, all of a sudden you're like, it's just like Game of Thrones. Like, out of nowhere you're like, wait, I was just getting to know that person, and then they just killed them. And like, it's very similar in a lot of aspects. Not lined up very well, are they? No, not at all. Part of struggle with spin-offs. I get so attached to the characters I know. The nice thing is that I feel like Game of Thrones, at least so far, Game of Thrones, in terms of killing people off, is like a 10. Like, but almost no one was safe in Game of Thrones. So few people were like absolutely kill proof. Like Rob and all of that. Like, they didn't hold back. They just killed people. The nice thing is that so far, the people that have died are like, they're not integral to the story in any way, shape, or form. You're kind of like, dang, that person died. But at the same time, you're not like, you probably weren't super connected to them in the same way that Game of Thrones was. Like, I got way more connected to the characters in Game of Thrones that died off than I did from characters that died in House of Dragons so far. So it's a little less gut-wrenching in that sense. They don't kill off as main of characters. Like, I always liked Oberyn in Game of Thrones, and when he died, I was like, dude, what? He was so cool. I was convinced he was gonna kill the mountain. So it's a little less of a struggle like that. They still aren't afraid to do things, but they are maybe a little bit more sensible about who they kill off. Some of the smaller characters in Game of Thrones, I was bummed when they died. There's some small characters I guarantee you'll be like, dang, I'm absolutely bummed that they died. But there's only maybe more so smaller characters that die in House of Dragons. There's very few like large characters that just die. But they're also still very early in the whole show in general. So there is time. I think the focus is less on random people that you like dying and more on expanding the Game of Thrones universe. I just enjoy it because I'm sort of a like I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, and so like a lot of people didn't like Fantastic Beasts, but for me it's like it's a continuation of a show that or a movie that I thoroughly enjoy and I really love, and that's enough for me to find interest in it and enjoy at least watching it through. It may not be something I watch a million times, but it does enough for me to like expand the universe, which I think is pretty cool. Similar to like Star Wars and stuff. Love Star Wars, love the originals. I grew up when the 1, 2, 3 came out, and for me that's like I enjoy The Mandalorian and all of that stuff a lot. They're not all perfect, but they're a continuation of like a world that's really interesting. So I find joy in each one in their own way. They may not be what the originals were, but they have their own like reason to watch them and enjoy them. Yeah, I've probably watched Game of Thrones 4 or 5 times through. When I was in architecture school, it was a lot of really late nights. And that's when Game of Thrones was really popular and blowing up. So I would watch each season many times while working on like renderings and doing architecture stuff. It's like I duped these. And I am through. I do audiobooks because I don't have a whole lot of time with like streaming and stuff to like sit down and read most days, so I listen to audiobooks while doing other things like cleaning and housework and yard work and all that stuff. I'm through most of the books at this point. I think I have 1 or 2 left. 1 and a half left. The books are hard though. The formatting works really well for the show where they just like jump around to 7 trillion characters. It's a lot easier to follow. The books are really difficult for me to follow for some reason. It's just so much more information. I mean, it's like endless. There's so much detail to go into. They're extremely daunting. It's so long. Like, if you're gonna read them, dude, I don't know if I could ever read all of them. Like, it's so much. Each book, and they get longer and longer, too. But, like, the first book's, like, 20 hours of an audiobook. And then it's 24, then, like, 32. And, like, it's so much information. It's really hard to follow all the characters, too. Like, you'd probably be better off watching the show for the vast majority of people. Watching the show and then going into the books. Just because it's so overwhelming trying to like learn all these characters and all the information about them and stuff. Like, it's insane. how much detail they go into. The story is very different from the show as well in many ways. The depth that George R. R. Martin goes into it's ridiculous. I don't know how someone even. It's like my grounded builds. You don't even know how someone would start. You just kind of go and then it goes forever. Stop at like season 5 of the show. I honestly don't know. I'm at the point where I'm in the point in the books where Stannis is at the wall and is like trying to figure out where to go from there, and Jon Snow is Lord Commander, and that's about as far as I am currently. And it like, I stopped listening to them for a little while because I was just like a little overwhelmed by trying to follow the story that was happening. Because even though they follow the same general story, they don't at the same time. Like, it's a whole different level of detail. It's really interesting, but it's daunting. I go on vacation in November, and I might listen on the plane and stuff. Try to get back into him a little more. Yeah, he saves Snow north of the wall, exactly. And now they're sort of figuring out where to go from there. And I can't even remember what half of the other characters are even doing at this point. Like Tyrion, at that point of the books, is on his way to Daenerys. He killed his dad, and all that stuff is all the same. But ugh, it's a lot. Like, they could have done a show on each of the main, like, the Lannisters, and then the Martells, all the stuff that goes on with the Martells, and then Jon Snow, and all of Winterfell, like, could be its own thing. Like, there's just so much. Pass out, have a good night. Thank you, Game. Welcome in. Or I hope you have a great rest of your night. Sleep well. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Man, this is sort of coming together. I gotta, like, figure out how to do more of this stuff. Maybe this stuff goes upstairs. That doesn't make a lot of sense. They're interesting, don't get me wrong. They're just... I'm not much of a book person. I just don't have a ton of time or, like, patience. I have too much ADHD to sit still and, like, read a book on a regular basis. I crank through audiobooks, but I gotta multitask. I read too slow. I've always been a very, very slow reader to, like, comprehend it to a level that it's worth it. Sounds good, Knife. Enjoy the Enshrouded, man. I did. Did I? Always wanted to read through Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, etc., but so much. Harry Potter is amazing. I am 100% biased, though. The books, if you've watched the movies, the books are phenomenal. Like, you'll enjoy... Because, like, I grew up when the books came out, essentially. And they were slowly, when I was really young, they were slowly releasing the movies. So it was, for me, I ended up watching all the movies before I read all the books. I read the first one, and then I was in school and didn't really do a whole lot of reading outside of school. So, for me, in my adult life, is when I really started getting into the... I found the audiobook. I found the audiobooks and was like, this is the way I like to do things. And then, for me, the, like, growth, or the expansion, I guess, of the stories from the movies. Because I mean, a movie is only going to cover so much. It's 3 hours or less. So you can only go over so much information. You know, you can't really cover the same amount of topics as a book. Like, a book is meant to be hundreds and hundreds of pages and endless amounts of details. So if you enjoy the movies, the books are really cool to get into afterwards, because it's like, oh my gosh, this, I never understood that. Like, it expands the world a lot, which I think is really cool. Like, having a brief knowledge of the history of something and then being like, having your mind fully expanded and learning a ton about it, it's really cool. Lord of the Rings is the same way. It's daunting because it's so much, but the books are incredible. I really enjoyed The Hobbit, and then watching the movies, and then like just so on and so forth. I really enjoyed the ability to do that. I think a lot of people that read books first and then see a movie, often, to me, are very disappointed. Which is kind of interesting, because I always am the opposite. I'm never someone, like, I didn't grow up reading a lot of books. I'm just a very, very slow reader overall. So for books are less enjoyable for me, just because it takes me so freaking long to get through a book that it kind of ruins the experience for me. Maybe as I get older and we have kids and they're grown up and stuff, might make it easier, but at this point in life, audiobooks are incredible. But they're not for everyone. And I learned from a young age that the way my brain works is like, when I hear something, I comprehend it so much better than reading it. Like, my brain just wanders while I'm reading. And I'm like, I don't even really remember what I read for the past 20 minutes. But if I listen to it, I can re-listen to it, because I like the repetition of it. So I've listened to the audiobooks for Harry Potter and The Lord of the Rings. Harry Potter 4 or 5 times now, and The Lord of the Rings once all the way through. And for me, it just makes it a lot easier. Sounds good, Knife. Lurk away, my man. It just works for my brain for some reason so much better. Just one of those things. Everyone's different, though. But whether it's reading the book or listening to the audiobook, I think it's really cool to watch the movies or the shows first and then go back and read the books or listen to the audiobooks. Just because you get this like huge amount of like extra information that way. It's like you really enjoy Lord of the Rings, and then because the movies are incredible, and then you read the books and you're like, the lore, you get even more background. I think Harry Potter does even more. I think Lord of the Rings goes into a lot of it better than most things. Game of Thrones, the show seems ridiculous and like a ton with 8 seasons, but compared to the books, it's like, it doesn't even scratch the surface of some of the characters. I love reading the books, chapter books, but I can't stop reading them. I need to finish in a week. I'll have to read the whole book. Ooh. Yeah, I don't have enough time to be able to read an entire book. It just would take me so long that I would just give up. Is how it typically works for me. I just do not have the time that I would like to focus on that kind of like reading on it. Closer. It's annoying. And that's why I do audiobooks, because I can 100% sit down and listen to an audiobook over a week or two and finish it at my own pace really easily. Can't do that there, though. That's annoying. So I was thinking, put like a shelf here. Better to do. same, isn't it? You put one or two things here. Be kind of cool. But I enjoy getting the extra information that you get from the books after watching a show and stuff, and you'll be a lot less disappointed going the opposite way when things don't like meet your standards, because the books tend to be better because they go into so much more depth. And your favorite part gets left out of the show or whatever. It can be hard to enjoy that on the same level. It's gonna be a mess. Efficient though. Oh man. Why don't these... Some things drop in the little bags and other things just don't. This would be a great thing to just drop in those little bags. Rude. Show stuff movie first, a nice baseline, yes. And it gives you that, like... I think what I enjoy about it is that you get the baseline knowledge, you get this, like, light overview of the entire series, and then it, like... when you get to learn all the extra information, it's like so interesting. It's really enjoyable for me to like do it in that order, because it's like, oh, I really enjoyed that show, and now I get this, like, it's like this whole new world is unlocked. Whereas the opposite way, it's like, I was hoping that all of these things were included, and they weren't, so I'm disappointed. They skipped over my favorite part of the entire movie, and then they didn't even like touch this character at all. Like, Harry Potter's the perfect example. Like, Dobby is an amazing character and should be in every one of the movies, and he's not. But in the book, you're like, oh dude, all this cool information on one of my favorite characters that I find really interesting. The order works really well. Oh, we're almost moved in. Cool. So many chests to move is the sad part, though. What's this up? That's supposed to be here. That's why it's different. Probably fine. No, it is right. Reason I struggled to follow through the movies. I think the movies for Harry Potter are very... They miss, they leave out some really, really, really key information, I think. This is just one, to be one higher. They leave out some really key information. I think the first and the second one don't really matter. Those are pretty easy to follow because the plot is pretty simple. The issue is once you get to the third book, they skip, or the third movie, they skip over so much really, really important information. Like backstory stuff. And that's where I think they made the biggest mistakes, is that there's some really, really key information that is missed that makes understanding the whole entire thing. So for me, it was like, I didn't understand so many little things, and then I listened to the third audiobook, and it was like, hold on a second, wait, this is a whole different universe, and then it really comes together. The fourth one, not as important. They do glaze over just some random deaths and things in the story that should have been included, but they aren't necessarily critical. They're just kind of lame things to miss. But then the fifth one, the movie is impossible to follow, in my opinion. Like, some of the information that they left out of the fifth movie is, like, unforgivable almost. I still really enjoy it, but without the background of the books, it's so hard to follow what's happening and why and who the new characters are. Like there's some really specific things that if you go listen or read the books, it'll blow your mind and everything will make sense and you'll enjoy watching the movies more because of it afterwards. That's when I really started falling in love with Harry Potter, is when I listened to the books and then was able to go back and watch the movies with a totally new appreciation of like what they were even trying to do and why certain characters are what they are and do what they do. Because it is that 5th book, it like totally changes the whole entire series for me. Pinecone, rods, shrooms. Dobby is a free elf. Yeah, there's just some really important information that's left out of the movies, I think. That makes them a lot easier to understand when you have the background of the book itself. Care where that goes. Rocks, rocks. There we go. I knew there was some ash cement somewhere. Go in your home. Ash cement, charcoal, and... Is it? I swear I grabbed this box already. The heck? I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. I can't remember which is which, but the one where I started to get lost, 4 to 5. Been so long since I watched them. Can't remember which is which. I would assume it's probably 5. I think they did a poor job explaining some of the key points that make that whole movie understandable. The 4th one, they just skipped out on some fun scenes, but the overall story doesn't really matter. Like, you're not missing anything on the 5th one. Or the 4th one, sorry. The 5th one is where I always was lost. So it's charcoal, ash, charcoal, and the actual charcoal in one of these. Ah, there it is. That's what I was looking for. It ended with them going through a maze. Yeah, the 4th one is the one where they end in the maze. And there might be some parts that are confusing, but overall you don't really like... The 4th movie is entertaining, but doesn't necessarily, other than the very end of it, doesn't really, like, do anything crazy for the story. But if you haven't read the books, 5, 6, the... Why am I blanking the name? 5, 6, and 7. So the, Prisoner of Azkaban... No, not the Prisoner of Azkaban. What am I doing? I can't... Am I blanking so bad? This feels horrible. Order of the Phoenix. Jeez. I feel like a noob for not being able to say that. For how much I know about Harry Potter, that was pretty pathetic. So the Order of the Phoenix, I think, describes an absolute ton. Then the Half-Blood Prince is the 6th one. Absolutely makes a ton of sense once you read the book. I think the book's much more interesting too, because there's a huge amount of background stuff that's added on top of the movie. And then the Deathly Hallows, which is the last 2 movies, are night and day difference. Like, the amount of information that you get in the books makes so much more sense, and it was a very different approach, I think, from what the books tell you. Because essentially the books, They like tell you what they're doing, and in the movies they don't even remotely tell you. It's more about the suspense, whereas the books, they specifically cover some very useful information, and in the movies, to make it more drama, they leave out some of the really important information that would be kind of lame to just tell you, but it makes for a more difficult viewing experience overall. Very interesting once you get into them, but very worth it, I think. Same with Game of Thrones, same with Lord of the Rings. I think they're all really good book series to go over. I also like audiobooks because the good ones, the voice actor that's narrating it will use like different voices for each character, so it makes it really easy to like follow the transitions between characters. So like I use Audible. I listen to the Jim Dale versions. I think there's 2 other versions that I think people like more. Those are just the ones I originally got. They didn't have the other ones on when I purchased them. But I really like the Jim Dale ones. Once you get used to the audio, the narrator themselves, you'll really like reconnect with the characters, and hearing the different voices that they use makes it really easy to follow. Whereas I'm easily lost reading a book. I'm very easily lost in like trying to follow the character switches that are happening, because I like hearing that audible change, personally at least. Very fun though. All of those series are really good. Can't go wrong with any of them. Talking about Harry Potter and stuff for hours now. Talk about a good night. Look at that wall of spinners and grinders, dude. Holy cow. They're not perfect. They're a little jank, but the grinders are. The spinners are pretty perfect, though. Those are lined up really well. Just a hair off in a couple places that it didn't want to place in. And then these should, yep, all reach that. I don't put that over here yet. Then the grinders will reach this, which I'm out of. Actually, go collect real fast. That's smart. Need to stay on top of that. We're going to use a lot more ash cement on top of this build. The details are going to be ash cement as well. I need a quickness hammer. Ugh. I hate not having speed. Now that I have this axe with the quickness, a trinket with the quickness, and then using Natural Explorer, it's so nice. Just all the speed. So, this is why I have to be careful not to run out of things. I really don't want to have to come and find these. Like, remember how I'm laying all this stuff out and where which box was where. The names take way too long to load, sadly. But we can get these built. I thought I was down to 300 burr. Perfect, we have a lot. I think this whole interior is going to look pretty crazy once we're done with this. Very excited to see how this all turns out as we go. The ideas are spinning. We have a long, long ways to figure it out, but when the ideas start working like they are now, I mean, can't help but great. This is the point in a build where the idea, like the rough layout is sort of done and figured out, and it makes putting the whole thing, details and stuff come to life, and it really starts getting good. When the outside starts working with the inside, not just random for no reason. That's when I start getting more and more excited. Very similar to how this still kind of blown away at how this bathhouse thing turned out. So this end one. Hey, help me out here. Go in your home. Yeah. Like the outside of this was looking really cool, but I was like, what the heck are we doing on the inside? And then as I slowly figured it out, oh, it just came together so well. But it takes a lot of effort kind of figuring out how those things are going to go. I also have to figure out where teleporters in this base go. That is a different struggle. Maybe one I should have thought of more. They don't really fit in this bottom area. There's too much open space in the middle here that I don't know what to do with. I want to put them downstairs. I want really easy access to them. So maybe they're going to have to end up right in this middle area. Or these corners? Maybe. Roof is the best part of the bathhouse. The roof? Just like the skylight things? Or the roof or the ceiling? Like this part? This thing turned out crazy. The roof itself is pretty boring. But this is going to be cooler. I'm going to do something out here. I just don't know what yet. But like this ceiling, I was really happy with my chandelier in the cathedral, but man, this thing turned out really sick. This whole build turned out really cool. I love doing builds like this. Yeah, the ceiling and the skylights. I had a feeling that's what you meant. I love making a random build like, oh, there's a hot tub. Like, I'd love to find a way to incorporate hot tubs in a build. And like, this thing is the perfect example of like building a base based off of one idea. Like, there's water, there's hot tubs. That makes sense to me. So it's like a garden bathhouse sort of thing. And then that's all it is. It's like, pick a random reason, a random item that I think is cool, and build an entire base out of it, essentially. Get all of these. Yeah, that's what I just... Let's move all of these over, and we'll organize them as we go. It's gonna be a show. But I don't want to work out outside anymore. This forces me to get my organization together, which I might do off stream a bit as well when I have some time. Because the hard part about what I'm doing here is that all of these chests need to properly reach. They don't have to reach everything, because like I don't need bug parts to use in spinners or anything like that. But each specific item needs to reach, like, that's why ash cement is in the center here, because it has to reach all the ovens on both sides. The mushroom stuff is going to have to go somewhere in the middle as well, so I can always be utilizing those as well. That's going to take some work getting this laid out, but I think it'll be pretty entertaining for people to see a perfectly laid out, perfectly I say, as functioning as possible. See you later, Knife. Thanks for hanging out, man. Thanks for the bits and the sub on Twitch as well, or subs on Twitch as well, man. I appreciate all the support. Enjoy the VIP status, my friend. We'll get more of that stuff figured out as well to make it more entertaining over time. Bear with me as I'm slow at figuring these things out. But I'm excited to see how this base works, because I think it's going to be, like, very functional. Did you decide on the floor for the entire sand pit? I have a few builds in there on the sand, but regret not making a foundation level. Most of it was random and learning by mistakes. So, like, it all started with this castle. So I built the walls around, and then I built this sort of in box form. I built a really crappy shaft up there. And what I figured out was, so like this had to go up to make this not on a weird level. So too much of this. I like some of this showing through, but I didn't want every piece showing through. And then I had to build up over the centerpiece to get up here to make levels. So that's why there's a staircase here. These only went up because I figured out that when I had it flat all the way around, the antlions spawned on top of here, and then they attacked me. So I was like, well, what if I just built a cage, essentially? So that was sort of the leading factor, was that the antlions still spawn down here if I built it like this. And then with the roof over them, the ones inside the castle completely leave me alone. Every once in a while, they'll clip up through, but very, very rare. So that's how this was decided. I just built the stair. It's very random that it like goes up and down, and I couldn't tell you why. It just kind of happened. This was just where the level is to cover up this leaf. This center area, I regret doing this way. I think I'm going to have to change this whole thing. There's 2 antlions that are really annoying that spawn right here, and I'm hoping that if I just build this level, also this broke, and they patched this thing so you can no longer do this, which really sucks. So I think I'm just going to continue this out and hope that these antlions maybe spawn underneath this area and lift a bunch of this up. It might get rid of some of these stairs as well. And then these might drop back down in this area and leave this sort of the same. But for the most part, it's how do I cover the antlions so they spawn underneath. So like originally, I was building the layout, the floor of this, and I was realizing that the antlions were spawning back here, and so they'd spawn up on these stairs. So I lifted this entire base, so I had like just the ground piece, so this whole layer, and this changed a lot. Don't get so. Take that with a grain of salt. I had a rough layout of like, here's where the towers go, here's the hexagon or whatever shape this is. And so I figured out, okay, I have to raise this so that the antlions spawn underneath it. And I had enough room. Because I also had a plan to build, we will get here eventually. I'll section all of this off and build some dungeon space under here. So it was like, how do I get the most antlions to spawn underneath this base and leave me alone forever? Was a big reason for most of the floor decisions. I also knew when I built this thing on this level, I wanted the floor to drop down in the middle. I didn't know how or how far, but I figured out quickly that I didn't leave myself enough space, so I had to raise it all up there. This stuff, I haven't even really fully decided on any of this. That's why a lot of this is left blank. And then it's just like, there's a hill here, so I built stairs up it. And I needed an entrance to the Black Ant Lab, so I made this little tunnel thing. And I wanted to cover up some of that stuff. There's kind of naturally follows the terrain in a lot of the areas is the other reasoning behind it. This was just like, the level of this thing is just, this was the level of this sand out there. I liked some of it showing, but I didn't want all of it showing. So it worked out where the sand sort of landed in these planter boxes. And then I was able to use foundation in other areas. But it all sort of starts as like, I lay it out to fit the topography of the whole, that's already there sort of. So like there's a mound of dirt, of sand here and a leaf. So I was like, oh, I'll build up here. And so that's sort of how some of these decisions happened, is they just follow. A lot of this area is just, this is where the natural terrain went. It kind of made this shape already, so I went with it. And then everything else is like, I just built up on the walls here. So these are just perfectly covering the sandbox is how all those were made. This, I didn't want antlions spawning in it. And I figured out by this mistake, there's one of the, I'll call it a queen antlion or whatever, the ones that are in their little burrows or their holes. This isn't tall enough, so it attacks me through the foundations. For some reason, it sees you. This one is high enough that it doesn't really notice me unless I'm like, I walk like right here, and then it might see me. So I wanted to make sure that when I was in this base as my character and not the handy nat, that all of these were going to be high enough off the ground that these two antlions didn't just throw shit at me and ruin my day. Destroy those. Forgot about them. So a lot of it's just how, if you place the foundations and the flooring above the ground, you'll stop yourself from being annoyed by antlions more often than not. Is sort of the way I kind of thought about it. I don't even know if I like that, honestly. Build on a smaller scale, but now bigger projects. I struggle with making my own playing field. A lot of it's really just trial and error. As I think it's hard for some people to hear, but like a lot of my ideas just come from like screwing things up and then redoing it. Could do those and then like fridges or something. Really need mini fridges. 2's probably more than enough. So that would work. That's why I tend to... I would say the majority of my builds start with just something else. So my other build is the pagoda. So I assume you've seen that, but I've ran through it a couple times if you haven't. Everything started with just like this pre-built, this pre-designed sort of shape that's already in the world, being the pagoda itself. And then how do I build a base around it? And it all just evolves around using that. Whereas the sandbox is just like, there was a sandcastle that was broken, so I thought I could rebuild the sandcastle. And so it started with just like, as you can see, some of these I didn't do an amazing job. I probably would have been better off raising this floor and skipping it. I mean, I still could and cover some of this stuff, but I'm good with it looking old and decrepit almost. And so a lot of the details were just like, okay, there's a wall, there's a wall, there's a wall. How do I best place this so it allows me to build over it all and cover most of it, while allowing some of these details to show through so it looks more old and destroyed. Like, I liked that these showed through these walls and sort of made some different designs in it in ways that you can't really use sand or anything as a material, like in playgrounds and stuff you can. And by utilizing the other things or the landscape that's going on around you, makes some of the decisions for you. But a lot of this was like, it's daunting. It's a very daunting task to like build this big of a space, and how you, there's all these decisions. Like every time you make a decision, like when I made this floor, moving it up took me 8 hours of like, or it took me an entire 2 or 3 streams, I think, to make all of this floor right and move each piece that I had done up to properly keep the proportions that I was trying to do. Luckily on this one, I was like, I'm gonna build stairs up because it looks cool. So that decision was a lot easier. This stuff, I rebuilt this first wall so many times. Like, don't even get me started on how many times I screwed it up. Many, many times. And that's part of the building process, is that you're gonna do things wrong, and you can't do things wrong per se, but you're gonna do things in a way that you're maybe not happy with. And so being flexible with like doing it and then redoing it, or making slight adjustments, because like everything I do is like, I start with a simple box and then, or shape, and then it slowly adds detail by layering little by little. Yeah, trial and error. Yeah, the floors and stuff are, I always try to start with, if you went back to the first couple streams that I worked on the cathedral, which is really what I started streaming. So there's some of the very first streams that I did. Seeing how I did the layout of this is probably one of the best places to start, and like how to learn how I sort of think about starting a base. Because it's daunting for me as well. Like, I don't necessarily talk about it, but I hit points where I'm like, I have no clue what I'm doing right now. Like, I'm just moving pieces around until something makes sense to me. Looking at precedent images, like having an idea of like, okay, this is the type of castle that I want to build. Doesn't mean you copy it exactly as that image, but it will immensely help getting that like first piece. It's like the analysis paralysis phase is that like first part where it's just like I don't know what to do. I don't know how I'm gonna build this. I know I want to build something big, but what does it look like? How does it lay out on the inside? Like those sort of things. Images and other precedents are what make that process a lot easier. I'm not all my builds start with an image very similar to what I end up with. Like I think this base, many of them change just in the sense that you have to make adjustments, but like this base looks very, very similar to the precedent image that I'm using. So that's sort of like, it has some ribbed things. Yes, I couldn't do these because my one design detail didn't work. My columns are different and you can't do that kind of stuff. And everything ends up looking different than the image, but having a good starting place like that makes a world of difference. Because I don't necessarily think I put like a ton of thought into how something's going to necessarily start. They just kind of start with an image and organically grow from there. Could do 4 of those. Sucks. Can't use it here like I want. I should have built this in a different spot. Still probably could, but it messes with everything. I guess I could leave access to the dungeon. I don't even know if I really need to be able to get through this in this area, actually. Works out to... Okay. Mushroom floor I did was just the mushroom pillar and filling the gaps with quarter walls. Not sure if you've played with that idea. Yeah, that's actually I've used that quite a bit now. My main area, actually, it's closer to go here. This. Oh. It's too bright. I can't see where they're going. This. Yeah. So I originally found the mushroom pillars, which are a nightmare to work with. Welcome back, Jeremy. Destroy this. I think I'm gonna do that. So I messed with the mushroom floors, pillar floors here, but I used them purely to make lighting. There's someone in the Discord using a similar idea that I really liked. And then from there, I accidentally made this quarter floor monstrosity with ash cement, which I think looks really cool, like a tiled floor, but it was so expensive to use the quarter blocks. And then after I did it with this, I ended up doing it the same design, but with weed stem floors, which if you've seen my base tours with Luderav, he had done this before I did. I was doing the ash cement while he was experimenting with the wood, and so I used this on this one. I really like this mushroom pillar thing with floors as like a floor. I think it looks really cool. I'm a big fan of how that looks. But I was definitely not the first person. I got the idea from a couple people on the Grounded Discord that had sort of messed with the lighting version of it, and then I started messing with putting the floors and stuff in between them and finding my own way to mess with it. Need to put all of these like this so we can destroy them and get all these materials back. So much lint. I love it. Feels good to be sort of moving into this actual base already. I'm definitely getting a little faster at building the more I stream it. I always was very slow through my processes, but now that I'm like doing this more consistently, it makes it a lot easier to build quickly. Although I am making a mess in here. Yikes. I'm definitely going to be doing some of this organization off stream because this is so slow. I prefer doing details and fun designs on stream instead of just organizing and destroying things like this. And try different quarter pieces. It's great how different parts align the pillars. Yeah. I actually used the ash cement on both ceilings and the floors. I didn't show that actually, I forgot. The original idea for the floor came from doing the ceilings, which is really random, but I was still have a little work on this build, but I was using these on the ceilings and someone was like, dude, put ash cement quarter blocks in between as like a mortar almost. And so it filled the gap. So it didn't have this really ugly, weird gap in between these. Because I really wanted these to be mushrooms, not like more burr. I wanted this sort of different look in between these different areas. And then I figured out that when you do it on the ceiling, it looks totally different than when you do it on the floor. And so I was like, that is epic. How different. That's the same thing, but they look totally different. I really like how that turned out. That was a fun little detail to mess with. But and same thing with like putting the these are the triangles in these columns I made. But man, like each one of these columns is 27 ash cement, and each one of these is what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 there. So each one of these sections is 7. Each one of these floors is, I mean, it's a million ash cement, which I can only do effectively now because of the way I've changed to custom and have churned up some of the resource spawning at this point, because it was getting ridiculous. I wouldn't be able to build like I am now at this point without these resources churned up the way I do. This works. Am I all right with like that? I'm thinking since I have an entrance down here to these floors, I might just get rid of this secret little floor here. So that would also save me a little bit of space in these rooms. I might do that. I don't really feel like I need access to the weed stems and grass and stuff. I use them, but very sporadically. So as long as I have a way in, I'm fine. And same with jerky. I literally never eat. I thought it'd be a cool thing to do down below. But not necessarily something I need to access from the main floor, since I want this to be maybe a little bit more symmetrical. I don't really see fitting these little pieces in. They don't work as well with the way I'm currently doing things, I think. I think this is the correct route. Some cool little shelves or something. Do I want ash cement like that? I don't. A little funky. Would it be nice to close those off? Because that would be a good area to do like sausagers and stuff, maybe. Functions better, so that might be the best route. One of these show a little less. Could do even it out. I don't know. Or I could make these cubbies too. Yes. Do this without those showing through. Huh. What's a use? I mean, I might as well use the space, right? I got it. Don't necessarily need an end cap sort of thing here either. Could just work as shelves. Just one. Just do the bottom. Could work. Could look nice. Gives me a place to put a couple more things. Like, we gotta have room for all this random stuff. Gotta have it close enough that we can still utilize, like, these. Huh. So I'll be messing with this a little bit off stream. Just because it's a little goofy on how I'm gonna fit these, like, miscellaneous pieces. And still have them close enough to reach everything. So if I put, like, I gotta have bug parts close to the glue mashers. I gotta have bug parts close. I guess the nice thing about these is I can build pretty much reach all of this stuff between one side or the other. Should work. The teeth will be the death of you, like the molars. But, like, I don't need multiple smoothie stations. And I might need... Oh, man. I'm tired. I might need some chests like this, now that I think about it. Because I'm going to want chests for, like, smoothies and stuff. There's some random thing, my own personal armor sets and stuff. We're definitely going to need some chests, so this might be a good way to do this as well. I like this. Make this a good functioning setup. So maybe that means I want the smoothie station over here. And sausager, like, over here. Or do those, like, here. Funky, I don't know. Game plus 7, getting ready for a new game plus 8, but need to find them. Yeah. They are a struggle. It's always like, I tend to not have any problems until, because all I do is healing, health, and stamina at this point. I did hunger and thirst for a little while, but I never really struggle until I finish, like, health and healing, and I have, like, the last 5 for stamina, and it always is where it's, like, impossible. They're way more difficult to find. Definitely don't need a garbage. So whatever. So we'll do some cool torches right here, I think. Little spaces. Oh man. I'm tired. 21 more. Yeah, that feels daunting. It's a lot. Probably don't need this many cookeries. I just like the symmetry that I currently have going on in here. Like the 2 pet houses and those sort of things. I'm silly like that. Triangle. That's what's in that. Might as well fill that in since I'm covering all this now. We're getting there. I need... There's a couple things. Any of that. I don't have any sap collectors over on this side of the map. That kind of sucks. Not really missing. Those will go upstairs. Perfect. I mean, this is pretty much everything, so I might be able to do... It's just the sausager that needs a good home. Probably more glue mashers, maybe. Fridges. Or like, why not, I guess. That's how I'm currently thinking of this. More is better. The big old base. If you went... There you go. How you like me now? Come on. Worked on the other side. Cool. Got plenty of the parts, so might as well. Glue masher, smooth. Maybe... Actually, could do... Haven't been here tonight, been busy. No worries, man. No worries at all. Never feel like you have to be here. We like having you here, but you don't have to be. Never have to apologize for not being here at a certain time. So we only need one smoothie station. I don't even really need sausagers over here, if I'm being honest. Realistically, I keep all of my upgrade stuff over at the other base, and I probably will continue to do that. So I don't really even need to worry about that as like I currently am. So we could do glue masher, glue masher. Keep this symmetry up. Do 4 of them. I could do 8 of them. Is it overkill? Probably. Do I care? Probably not. Run over to the pagoda real fast to figure out what else we're missing here. My headphones. Alright. I also need a teleporter area. That's something I gotta think of. Let's go to the pagoda first. It's the same thing. Ovens, cookeries. This thing's just close to that stuff. Just fun. Glue mashers. The crafting tables are upstairs over there. Functionally, we have everything, I think. Could do this. Maybe that might be a cool detail to do in the middle here. Different version of it, at least. Just be for the fountain, I guess. How long you streaming tonight? Oh, that, Kayla? Probably done here shortly. 4K. Yeah, it's already 10:33, so yeah, probably shortly. Hang out or talk about something. We're at a pretty good stopping point, though. Overall. Probably wants to be warmer. But I definitely want to add some fun details like this to this area. Fill this out. Allows me to put some extra things in here. Sort of place some things in the middle of this base as well. Or maybe it goes over that. I don't know. We'll have to mess with that next stream. Close, though. Other than getting all the chests organized, which is a disaster. I'll probably, definitely not streaming tomorrow, so I'll probably be back Tuesday. For anyone that's curious. Tuesday, yeah, probably Tuesday. I'm watching the duck game tomorrow with some friends, so that is most likely the plan. And I'll hopefully come back with this all at least roughly laid out. Get the chests all kind of figured out and organized. That'll be nice to have completed, because they are currently a mess and very boring. Just organizing chests and staring at them, trying to get them placed perfectly, and then redoing things, because I have to make sure everything works the way I want it to. But we'll come back and we'll get some of this more fun stuff figured out as well. So I'll leave all those details for that next stream. So yeah, I think I'm going to call it here. Build this real fast, because I want. We have a functioning base. Just have to do a little more cleanup out here. But overall, we're moving forward. This base is actually going to start working soon. Alright. I'm going to call it there. Thank you, Fancy, and Squarish, and Jay, and Gam Knife, Cycone, or Seacone. Everyone. Thank you. Thank you for hanging out. If you're not, make sure you follow on Twitch and YouTube. You have a good night too, Jay. Appreciate you hanging out, man. But I will catch you. If you're not part of the Discord, that is the last thing. Definitely join the Discord. Show off your builds, ask questions about Grounded and other building games. That's where I'm typically on. I'm on Discord all the time. I have it on my phone, so if you have any questions, that is a great place to ask me random questions about building and Grounded and anything design and creative thinking wise. But I appreciate everyone, and I will catch you on the next stream. Peace.